whaamalo te kia mo tolo hou eke mo kainga mo kau mai ki he tau polokalama koe a honi fia o pita e polokalamani ke tau lava o i heni whakataha ai. Pea mo e kau whawhawhonga koe ni me he ofisi whakaampastoa koea o e tau purianga Tonga ke purianga whakatataha koe o Alepea i Abu Dhabi. Ai o ku kau whoki heni a Sonata Tupou, pe he whoki ki e hoa koea o e ampastoa ko Akau'ola, pe o ku heni pe whoki pe mo Mele finau Oliveti. Kai te o whakaloloa, ka wange whoki whainga maari koe ni ki a Sonata, pe a hoku atu pe a me ai. Malo.
Malo apito Suli. Ko roto peke kamata ki tuku e whatapu ke tamahewani, ano hene a whio toro Tonga, man ta takta tono kotoa, talo me he wiko o si, me mea kona e hoko i Tonga. E whoku tuku te whakatapu makehe ki hene a whio, ta hene kuini, whare hoa i ki, pehe whoki e pare e mea pa me whanua ano kotoa. Pehe whoki ki he Tonga ano kotoa i Muring, na e whau mai wiko o si, i he loto mo e maafana e loto, o whenga koe whitutaki ki Tonga. Ko ki mepe ko lawa o ke lawe ki ai, me he tawhaaki a mautolu, ai a koe me he embassy. Ko si o pe o si lea haki hoku kaunga ngā ue ta haki a keo kisi, o Tupou lea i a honi e TV ko si aina mo me a o 40 a niafi. Ko ki taim whenga ta aka mautolu, ai a mo whakamaloat i he lere kone a lot seini ho polokalama, whakamawhana whakalotolahi apito ka mautolo no kotoa. Aia o maupehe ke hoko at pe ngā ue. He koe mea koe na mausio koe ki ai, mauhinga nge mo ui i he nau mo whare, neong e maumau e mea koe ako koe roto ke hango. Ai ki te mamahe roto ka kaima mea. Ka koe ngahi mea koe e lava pia, malawa pia langa haki. Ka koe mo ui ko mea mauhinga. Ko rere me koe ki polokalama koe ni te sio i he kātoa e kāinga Tonga all over the world. E nau whai taha mai whai a lotu, koe kolo ai a tau tolu koe, o tau tataki mea tau whanonga i he ngā ue ma mea kotoa. Ko kāre wani mea whakalotolahi ka mau tolu koe ni he ni ko he ngā whuki koe Expo lo tonga lere he tainimi. Ia whalere e Deputy Commissioner, pa mau he nye pa mo Mele Oliveti me FENIU mo mea. So it's hard to move on to continue something when o te ngoi ulawe ha toroto te tokang ko to family mo te umea ko especially ko to whanua. Ka koe mea pe te sio pope ki te sio ki mua ka loto pe o ne whakaloto lahi mea umea koe. Ai au mau pehe ko sio ko na mo whakakau na matana pe ma pastoa ki ai. Te ki tāpuni Expo ai pare Pavilion no Tonga. Ka tasi ke whawhenga ki Tonga umea koe ni pa ma te pehe hoko at pe ngā ue. Ka whai pehe ofisi e ta whako ofisi. Ta whako ne ofisi na se tu tak mai ka Tonga me whitu koe ni, ka Tonga me Sescretary, ka Tonga koe me India. O ke pe ki kainga Tonga toko si i Saudi Arabia mo mea. Aia koe mea pea ofisi e, ko whenga pe ke reach out ka nau tolu. Ko sai whakana si mai ai first official update i koe na pure anga. O wahe le mai ki tau konsela wharangangi koe India, ki nhangia tufat ke kau Tonga koe ai, to keep everybody informed mea koe nu hoko mo mea. Pe hangia pe koe ko mea koe na Expo mau lere pe ngawe ke hokokat pe ngawe, ka te whakahoko refe tutaki mo mea ki Tonga, pa koe ngongo whawhiawhia ni te sio te interneti mo mea, o mu whalotolahe ma motor me Australia mea, pa koe ni kulawa ke connect ke Seoul, lawa ke kamata ke rea te kakai ni mo mea. Kau pehere anga whanga mare ka sū ke te hoka tuia. E tānoe ke ngau kona Expo ko hoka tu mo mea. Alo apitsu.
Malo apito e Sonata i he mao e whenga maari koe ni pe he whoki ki ngahi le whalotolahi mei hena. Pe o kumau tala monua e tai pe ki he kainga Tonga kotoa pe i he area ko iau e hahaki lo roto ange na ke lawe ki ai. Pe tu siloni pe whoki e Sauta Arepea. Pe whamalo ato ku kekia tai maungo i o kumau tue noa, pe o kumau tuu tokataha, maungo i pe o kutau kāwhataha kotoa kainga Tonga me turi ke whā kotoa mamani, pe kau ia whamawhana ia ho mea mai koe nā mei hena, ke kau ia i whalotolahi ke kainga Tonga o ku whanonga mai mei Tonga mo ngai wheitu ke hepe. A special thank you there to Sonata Tupou for those words of encouragement. It is encouraging to hear that despite this natural disaster that's currently affecting the people of our small island kingdom and the diaspora overseas who are so desperately trying to reconnect back home. It's encouraging to hear those words and to hear that, despite thoughts and prayers for home, but you guys are doing such a great job over there, keeping our Tongan communities around the Middle East informed. And not only that, but continuing the wonderful work at Expo 2020 in Dubai, which is an absolute fantastic success. I know it's not over yet, and I do intend to get there before it's finished, but it's a fantastic work. So credit goes to the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of Expo 2020 for our Tongan Pavilion, which is also His Excellency Ambassador Akau'ola and Su Akau'ola, for the fantastic and outstanding work you're doing. And I must admit that I'm a little bit envious that my very, very close friend and a relative of our family, Mele Oliveti, has beaten me over there to Dubai and to Abu Dhabi. And I'd like to, at this point in time, give an opportunity to the Deputy Commissioner, to Su Akau'ola. If you could just share a little bit about some updates from Expo 2020 from that part of the world, and also introduce our special guest that you have currently with us at our Tongan Pavilion.
Thank you, Suli. And first, I must also express our sadness over what's happened with our little kingdom. And we, like so many others, have been watching the news and just scrolling social media, trying to find out what's happened with family and friends. And it's been very heartbreaking and very sad this morning when I start seeing photos of Nuku alofa in the city and Dampuna Road and hearing what's happened on Pangaimotu and the other islands. So, but Tongans are resilient, and we, our part here is we're going to double down and we're going to make sure that we get some good investment going into Tonga, and we're looking for trade products to find new markets for here. So that's why Mele's here with her beautiful product. And we're looking for investment in Tonga for tourism, for energy. So that is our commitment. We're going to really buckle down even more and spend 24 hours a day now, not just 14, trying to do that. So yes, we've been blessed to have Mele here. With her FENIU product. And let me just talk to you a little bit about the trade side of it for us. We need to have good products. We need to have quality products. It's a quality market. But we're not just trying to introduce good quality products into the UAE. It's all of the GCC countries that we're going to be accredited to. And in fact, we've been also this week meeting with the Foreign Trade Officer in Europe as well, and she's very passionate about getting some really good products out of Tonga. So when we're talking about good products, we're talking about good quality and also being able to provide the quantity of the product. So, sort of the halala vanilla type products. If it's a small quantity market, we would have to look for other markets for that because they're looking for continuous supplies for these big. And here we have this beautiful product of Mele's, and I sort of found this by mistake, her product, and I reached out to her and asked her if it would be something suitable for Expo quite some time ago, and she sent me a few samples. And they were just absolutely beautiful. And what I'm passionate about this product is that it's sourced from a youth group in Tonga. So that the main ingredients and so that's our connection with Tonga, and that's what I like seeing, is that we're helping the youth. So maybe let me tell you a bit about Tonga Expo too. We've just had over 140,000 people through the pavilion, so that's fairly much one for everyone in Tonga. Yeah, so it's been really busy, and we've had so much positive feedback. Everyone is so excited about our pavilion. It is really magical. It is really interactive. It sends a very powerful message in a very beautiful way. and all credit for the pavilion needs to go to their Majesties, because it was them that drove this project and gave us all these great ideas. So, but I'll let you speak to Mary about what she's been up to in the last few days.
Definitely. Look, thank you so much to Akau'ola, Deputy Commissioner of Expo 2020. We might come back to you a little bit further on the discussion. And I'd like to introduce Mele Finau Oliveti, all the way from Abu Dhabi. Last time we caught up, you were on the line from Sydney in Australia. So you've made it to the other side of the world. And well, first and foremost, tell us what's been your first impressions of Expo 2020?
Greetings to you, Suli. Thank you so much for this time. Expo, it's been magnificent. I'll tell you a little bit about my journey here. I found out on the plane about the devastating news about the tsunami hitting Tonga. And I almost felt a little bit lost once I arrived. Didn't know whether or not to continue pursuing, visiting the Expo. And but then, after visiting Expo and seeing how magnificent everything is and seeing the trade opportunities, I felt like the need more than ever was to get up and do the work. I've met so many amazing partners, potential partners here, and just to be able to experience what their excellencies have been able to do here has been absolutely wonderful. The platform they've been able to provide for the brand here, I see this as a big opportunity to help our kingdom back at home, particularly the youth who are from Tupou, and I understand would be one of the first to be hit. I visited many times the youth organisation in helping them create the oil, and we've reached out to Drew Havel and the youth. We've yet to hear back from them. But as soon as I couldn't sleep on the 14-hour flight here, I was on my phone to my team. I wanted to tell them we need to give our, try and help any way that we can. So we're dedicating 100% of our sales for this month to the youth organisation for FENIU. And the support has been really wonderful. And it's really lovely to see the world sort of rise up and support and experience, to be able to experience what the brand is able to offer to represent the kingdom, not only locally, but internationally. It's been wonderful. So I'd like to thank, Sue and His Excellency Akau'ola, Sonata, the team here have been so welcoming, connecting us with leaders. Here's some of the founders of Dubai who have given me really uplifting hope, encouraging messages to keep doing the work for your country. And I give thanks to God that He's given me this new courage and this new drive to continue the work. And you really got to get over here, Suli, and experience it for yourself. I can't say more than that.
Before we come back to Expo, just for a moment there, you did mention that your team on the ground are based in Tupou. We know that Tupou is obviously one of the impacted areas from the tsunami. Are you aware of any damage at all to infrastructure or homes belonging to any of your team members in that area?
So I have yet to hear back from our direct contact. She is not sort of close to town. She's more towards the eastern side of Tonga. I have yet to hear back from anybody from Tupou, but yeah, we are like, other than the images that we've been able to see online, are just heartbroken. But still, it gives me a drive to continue the work here in order, once they clean up, and they will clean up, they're going to need the assistance. They're going to need the help, and we're going to do the work here on our part to help them once they're ready.
Before we talk about your product, what was your first impressions of I haven't seen it firsthand, I've only seen videos, but our amazing Tongan pavilion? What was your first impressions when you're in the middle of all these countries at the World Expo site, and then here's our little Tongan flag, and you're going into this like contemporary, amazing pavilion? What was your impressions?
I'll tell you what, like, it's really hard to articulate it, to be honest with you, because you walk through, and I was kindly greeted by Dele, who's been really lovely in dealing with me and organising us coming over here. He's walking me through, and I just see a magnificent, like, I can't even explain it, Suli, like there's the music in the background, and the first pavilion you see as soon as you turn and you're walking down the alley to where the countries are, is Tonga, is like the first country. And Sue has done a fantastic job to get Tonga right at the front of entry of Expo in the opportunity section. But I was so wowed. I walked right up and I seen an image of the palace at the front, and I just got a sense of home. I saw our flag. It just makes you really proud. And I've been documenting this on my own social media and my team's social media, and we're taking people who aren't able to come and experience, and hopefully this will inspire a generation to get up and do the work, because obviously there is a platform. These guys have done the work to provide it, and you know, the support is there for the work that is there. And I've been building FENIU for the last 3 years, and you know, walking by faith, obviously, but to see that the work and the platform is here, the contacts are here, it's just, everything makes sense now, and it's such a rewarding feeling. I mean, to be able to do something with that for our community is even more of a bigger reward. But yes, I can't really explain it. We're walking through, and everything is LED, everything is interactive with the computers, and they take you on the journey, and they've just done a fantastic job of advocating for our kingdom, environmentally educating the rest of the world about just what we have to offer and the challenges there.
Before I come back to you, I'd like to just jump back to the Deputy Commissioner for a moment, to Sue Akau'ola, because I know when we've had a previous interview with His Excellency shared about Their Majesty's vision for the Tonga Pavilion, and in particular, I'm referring to the trade opportunities, the economic and investment opportunities. So we have this quality product, FENIU, which you've brought over to the Middle East there. Give us a little bit of a taste of that vision, just to remind our viewers a little bit about what those opportunities are like in that part of the world, because not everyone might be watching the program who are familiar with the Middle East and familiar with the kind of opportunities that a world exposition of this scale offers in terms of networking and partnerships.
Well, I think Mele's story is indicative of what an expo is like. So Mele's met with Austrade, she's met with, and she's also working with the European market as well, and yesterday she met with the Saudi Arabia Commissioner General and has now contacts, and we'll be meeting them again this afternoon to take this further. So it's just all of these contacts and all of these opportunities to get your product into the market, get it set up in the market. See, Fiji have been here a lot longer than us, and they've got their Fiji water and pure Fiji here. So we need to get our good products here, because it's a huge market. It's an absolute huge market. And if nothing else, that's what we are here for. For anyone that has a product that they think that would be suitable, please contact us. Just email us at the embassy, and we're here for you. We're working for you to try and help you get your product onto a market.
Fantastic. Coming back to you, Mele, as mentioned there by the Deputy Commissioner, you had a meeting with some of the Saudi Arabian delegation yesterday. What's the taste, I guess, in terms of the branding and the market, I suppose I should say, in the Middle East? I know that you said that there's the European market, we know our Pacific market. What's the Middle Eastern market like in terms of your product, FENIU, beauty products in general? What are they looking for? And is it something that you believe FENIU fits a niche market in that part of the world?
So I know that here in the Middle East, they value beauty products, skincare products. They value their organic oils, luxury oils. And so I see this as a fantastic opportunity to offer them a premium oil from the Pacific Islands. I mean, a lot of the people out in these regions aren't familiar with the Pacific Islands. So to be able to offer them something really luxurious and really beautiful, the sandalwood and the coconut oil that is made by our youth, they've taken such a great interest in it. They think the product, I've heard lovely feedback about what they think about the packaging. They've tried the textures of the oils. I mean, we've done the work at FENIU to formulate on a world sort of class level. And so I felt this would be the perfect market to introduce. But, you know, in saying that, although this expo is in Dubai, this is actually the World Expo. We have exposure to the best of the best in the world. So, I mean, I'm not here for a very long time, but I've been training and speaking to the team, educating the team to do the work for us when we head back. And there's, you know, I do look forward to seeing some connections and networks happening, even just to start a conversation and let them know that we're on the scene. And, you know, maybe perhaps we will go back and rework our strategy and see what they're looking for in different markets. But for the UAE in particular, they love beauty products, they love skincare products. And so I'm very much looking forward to introducing the brand here. And yeah, there's talks that we will do a launch here in the next month. I won't talk too much about that until we get some things concrete. But I'll go back to my team and we'll just liaise with the team here in the UAE and we'll keep you updated.
I think it's clear to say there's not many Tongan products on the market in the Middle East. So they're in terms of their expectations would be probably quite minimal because they would not be familiar with any products from our island kingdom. But the people that you've met so far over the Middle East, what has been their reception or response or your experience with them when you've been presenting the FENIU product? I did see some of your pictures on social media. I'm just curious, what was their response in terms of the product?
Very impressed, very curious. They would like to know what the base ingredients are, how it's produced. And so I explained to them that we source our ingredients. So I sort of give them a talk through about how FENIU has come about in order to be sort of recognised in the world, sort of in the beauty industry. You sort of need the certifications and the right testing. So in working with Australia and being an Australian manufactured product, we've done the work to get the right certifications to make it sort of on that world ready sort of level. But so far I've heard wonderful feedback from potential buyers and investors. We've had people leave their cards, and the product's been selling off the shelves so far. So far so good. And I look forward to, this is just a start, I'll tell you that. So I look forward to exploring more and giving you an update.
I know that supply chains of many products around the world have been impacted due to border closures and also COVID-19. I mean, an example would be we've got major cities in China which are well known for manufacturing products which are currently shut down, which is impacting supply chains, to all countries around the world. Tonga's obviously been impacted now by a tsunami, and you source a lot of your organic products come out of Tonga. And second to that as well, we've got the border closures. How have you been impacted in terms of your supply chain or ability to supply a Middle Eastern market and a more broader global market during the pandemic?
Well, we've been able to we've been ready. We've been quite lucky in that we don't manufacture in China or overseas. We're very proud that we're an Australian-made product, and we've had to invest a lot in being a locally produced product, but it just worked in our favour that we made that decision. We haven't had any issues with any sort of supply. And prior to the lockdowns, I mean, I was in Tonga in sort of February, just before the lockdown happened in Tonga. I kept on bringing over the supplies to our manufacturer. We manufacture on a large scale, so we have sufficient stock at the moment. But the work is to help Tonga rebuild, to help the Tongan Youth Congress rebuild. And once we make contact with them and sort of assess what they need help with, we need to help get that factory set up for them. And I guess, yeah, there's not a lot we know at the moment. So I'm looking forward to connecting with Drew and the Youth Congress in order to assist any way that we can.
I note that you have approximately, I believe it's 4 particular products on the market at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. And
correct, yes.
That's right. And I think at least one, if not two of those are the latest ones that have just come out. Has there already been, before you've traveled over there to Dubai, has there already been an interest in any of those particular products, or all of them together from Europe and the broader Middle East region?
I think we were waiting to have the full range to offer. I mean, a lot of the retailers sort of don't want to consider taking on products if it's sort of the one and the two. We were waiting to offer a range. So we're quite happy with the range that we have, and it's just worked out at the same time as Expo. And to make an introduction here at Expo is what we were looking to do. So although it's been
12 hours.
really difficult with COVID, I needed to try and get here. I needed to really try and get here. I'm only here for 5 days. It takes 14 hours to get here.
It's a fleeting visit.
But the leads are there. The leads are there, and I'm collecting them. And I think it's just timing. I think you can't you have to be built a certain type of way to endure having a business during COVID. And so there's times that we have to be patient, and there's times that and make sure things are right. But I'm really happy to be here at this time to present this range on this sort of global level, because I'm ready to supply it and I'm ready to promote it. Our marketing team is doing the work. And so, yes, an international launch in the coming months would be great for us. And at this time, we're just collecting leads and making introductions to potential buyers.
And I believe today, this our discussion and our interview today is coming not from Dubai, but actually a little bit further up at the capital of the United Arab Emirates, and that's Abu Dhabi. What was your impressions when you mentioned your impression walking into the Tongan Pavilion with the flag? But how did it feel to walk into our very own embassy of the Kingdom of Tonga in the Middle East of all places, in Abu Dhabi?
I'm just like speechless. The amount of work that the team, His Excellencies have had to do here with Sonata and to keep, it's wonderful. It's amazing. It's world-class level. There's definitely a platform here for luxury and well put together products to be showcased here. The team here are fantastic, but I just can't believe that I'm here in Abu Dhabi. And for some reason, I thought Abu Dhabi and Dubai were like right next to each other. So I've been telling people to come and have meetings with me in Dubai, like it's just down the road. And His Excellency was so kind to invite myself and my assistant to come here and experience and visit the office. And so kindly offered for us to have sort of a central place to operate with business for FENIU. So I'm ever so grateful. And there's no words to tell my gratitude and love for the team here in Abu Dhabi.
Before I come back to the Deputy Commissioner for a bit of an update of things that have been going on at Expo, particularly with our Tongan Pavilion, for yourself, what is the next 5 days, or the total 5 days? What does that look like for you in terms of meetings, presence, where you're going to be, what's on your itinerary? Because no doubt it's a very tight itinerary for 5 days. And you've got another 14-hour flight ahead of you at the end of it.
Yes. So in between my meetings with Austrade, so Austrade are based here in Australia. Based here in Abu Dhabi. I've been connecting with them whilst I've been in Australia. So I've been having meetings with different sectors, like the business development manager that's in charge of the Middle East from Austrade. Also, I'm very busy. I don't think I even have time to go and take a photo anywhere cute. I have back-to-back meetings. So after this, we head back to Dubai, and we have a meeting with Saudi Arabia. I leave back on Saturday, but up until Saturday, we have meetings back-to-back with interest. And I'm here for the work. Maybe next time I'll be able to get out and experience Dubai a little bit, but the leads are there, and I'm taking any interest, any meetings I can at this time.
It's awesome. Before I pass to the Deputy Commissioner, is there anything additional that you wanted to add, or any encouragement to our people anywhere in the world? I know travel's a little bit difficult, but what would you say to our people who want to get over there to Dubai, want to see Expo 2020, people like myself, before the end of the Expo season in end of March?
I think for us here, the Tongans in the diaspora, it's a time for us to wake up and work. It's a time for us to be encouraged to help our brothers and our sisters and our families that are in Tonga. The opportunities are there. Please make contact with Sue and His Excellency and Sonata here. The team is here to help. And yeah, it's just been lovely to connect and work together. I am very prepared and very excited for the future. And, you know, it's been a vision of mine for a long time. My heart's always been for the Tongan people and for the youth in particular. And it just, for me, I just was questioning, must have been a bit of reason why I was here at this time, because I was meant to come before. But yes, the work needs to be done, and I would just encourage everybody to be lotolahi and but, you know, keep the prayers, keep connected, keep the conversations going. That the work needs to be done. The Tonga's going to be cleaning up, but we need to be assisting them abroad, and we need to be working, connecting with people to help us, and being a voice for our communities back home.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mele. Look, wishing you all the best for the rest of your time there in the UAE and also in the broader Middle Eastern area, and praying that great networking opportunities and partnerships evolve whilst you're there, and wishing you a safe trip. Stay safe, of course, in COVID in this world, and a safe trip back home to your base in Sydney. I'll pass now to the Deputy Commissioner. Look, Sue, could you give us a little bit of some stats and figures in terms of, I mean, the Tongan Pavilion, essentially, it's an opportunity for people in the business world and for trade. It is an opportunity. How many countries do we have exposure to? What are the kind of networking that exists at Expo 2020? You've been there since, well before it commenced. So for those who's never been there, and we know we've got some idea of an exposition, this is not just any expo. This is one of the largest expos in history. Could you give us some stats and show us a little bit about what this opportunity looks like to someone who's a potential business investor?
Well, it's huge. It's absolutely huge, and it's very magical, and there's 190 odd pavilions. So, and every country is here. So, and everyone's wanting to do deals. They're looking for products. They're looking for exposure for their products. So, you know, please come. Please talk to us. This is our job. This is our only job. Find you know, markets for the products that we do have. So as I said, we've had 140,000 people go through the pavilion, but we also have an investment office as well. So we've got the connections here. We've got the trade connections, and as you know, the ambassador's been involved with the UAE for way back when they were lobbying for IRENA and when they were actually bidding for this expo. So he has a lot of connections, and I know one of the other people that Mele met yesterday was a Dr. Mustafa, who is a very old and distinguished family from the Emirates and has huge connections and business. So these are a whole lot of connections that we have, people we can talk to, people we can show the product to, and they can lead us to the right distributors. They can give us ideas of how we can polish or shine an object, something if it's not quite right. But this is what you need to do, is come here. You need to start the conversations with us. You really do. And you need to be, I think what's exciting with Mele is that she's so passionate about her product. It's a brilliant product too. So I'm passionate about it. We're out there trying very hard to get that market here because we want it in here. Yeah. That's
so good. And I mean, I asked Mele the question, but I'll ask yourself, what was your observations of people's reactions to the product? I saw it on the photos on social media. It was on display in the Tongan Pavilion. I've also seen presentations to other delegations in there. What have you observed in terms of how people are responding to this really unique organic product coming from our island kingdom, presented and packaged in a very internationally marketable way?
Oh, I've heard things like they've sat my product there and said, "Oh, it looks like it's from Paris." Definitely very impressed. They like the gold, they like the packaging, they like the clean look of the product. It looks like a luxurious product to them. They're very impressed. And so they'll try a sample of the product and they love it. I have been met with a lot of pleasant reactions to the brand, which is very encouraging for me. So, I'm like Sue said, I'm very passionate, and to be able to see it enjoyed by people here in the Middle East, it's a different kind of feeling, like that they value and enjoy. But also the story of, having a product from the Kingdom of Tonga, the source that I'm sourcing the ingredients from them. They're very interested and very intrigued.
I note that, of course.
I think, Suli.
Yeah, go ahead.
Suli, if I may, one meeting we had, we introduced Mele to one of the, a beautiful old Emirati man that just takes my heart every time I meet him. But he worked very closely with the founding fathers to build the city. So he's a very, very distinguished gentleman and has been involved in so much industry. But we sat down and we had a coffee, and at the beginning of this meeting, he put some of the oil on his hands and he smelt it. And right through the meeting, while we were talking about the product and how best to go forward here, he kept smelling it, and he was just taken back by the colour, the smell, the texture of the product. He just loved it. So there's definitely a market here, and I know he was so taken by Mele as well that he's certainly going to be working in the background to assist her.
And I'm sure I'm not wrong here in saying that, we're familiar with the story behind tui tui. I mean, these are traditional things that have been in Tonga for so many centuries. And the Middle East being an Eastern culture who values traditions and values, organic products and so on, I'm sure that there's been an appreciation from them as you've shown the product as well for the story that's attached to it.
Absolutely. So I think there's so many opportunities here that we've only touched the surface, and we need more products, but we need, as I said earlier, the products coming out of Tonga need to be of the sort of standard for this market, and I'm sure there's other markets for products that are sort of lower cost and but for this market, you're really looking at top quality products here, because that's what they've got here. So we have to compete. And this is one of those products. So if you've got it, email us. We're going to work with you and try and help to get it into the market.
I was going to ask if there's someone out there who's someone who believes they have a product, they might be a little bit uncertain, is this something that would be good for Expo? They may not be living in Tonga. They might be of Tongan descent, living in amongst our diaspora communities anywhere in the world. How would they get in contact with you in order to get this? Because I'm aware that it's we've only got a couple of months to go for Expo. We want to get their product very urgently, make contact to establish that relationship, to get an opportunity to present it to the world, to only 192 countries. That's phenomenal. How would they go about doing that?
Just email the embassy. So you'll find the embassy email online. Email the embassy. We're only a tiny wee team. And so talk to us. I mean, we'll give you advice. We'll look at the product. We'll talk to you about what we think and assist you as much as we can. If you're interested in putting it in this market, because that's what we're here for. We're here to find investment. We're here to assist Tongans. So please, we'd love it. Bring it on.
Just coming back to Expo more generally and the Tongan Pavilion, I was very fortunate. Pasifika TV Radio was very fortunate to be able to broadcast the opening ceremony, which was just like out of this world. and was a great showcase of what the UAE is all about and the high standards and showing the whole world what they can do. What have been some of the highlights for you personally since the exposition formally opened in terms of our Tongan Pavilion, or maybe in terms of Expo more generally?
Well, I must say the opening ceremony I watched on TV too, because they only asked the Commissioner Generals to go. So, but that was amazing. It was simply amazing. I guess the highlight for me must be, I've been working with Her Majesty the Queen on Expo for a few years now, and for us to develop a pavilion that's so different to every other pavilion, and of such a high class that shows the beauty of Tonga. And it is a very long process, but we were here, so it was a lot easier for us to work with the Expo people on what we were wanting. So it came down to, what myths are we going to put into the Expo, into our pavilion, and how are we going to portray it? So we decided to do little cartoons. Whose voice is going to be the little boy? What does a crab say when it runs along the in Awa forest? A coconut crab. Who's got a voice like a coconut crab? I mean, it just goes on. It's so much detail, so much work. And what they sort of did was, we were working closely with them, but then they sort of blocked us out. We weren't allowed to go to the pavilion for a while, and I knew that they were setting up everything we'd done. So when I went through the first time, I did cry. I must admit, I did cry. A couple of times I've done that. I just sit there and go, wow, it's just so amazing, because everything came together, and it had been a hard journey. And we were just so very proud that this is the way we are going to show our little kingdom to the whole world. And the feedback we're getting is just so amazing. I mean, when the Saudi Commissioner General came through yesterday, he was just blown away. For a small state pavilion, it's so outstanding, if I may say so myself.
And I know, Sue, we've both got a background in the travel industry and hospitality.
Yes.
And I know that another key industry for Tonga obviously is tourism, and putting our border closures and that aside for a moment, because they won't be closed forever. What has this pavilion, because it is a extremely high quality pavilion, and I haven't been there. I'm just looking at the videos and what you've been able to so graciously send me. But what has been the interest from people who've never been to Tonga from all parts of the world? Because you've got an expo normally our expos have been in Asia and Europe, but this is our first expo in the middle of the Middle East region. What has been some of the interest from from visitors to the Tonga Pavilion in terms of planning a future visit to the Kingdom of Tonga?
I think what we get is a lot of excitement from visitors because it's so interactive. The real excitement about the whales, the whole whale thing, and the beauty. I don't think most people here don't know absolutely anything about Tonga. They have no idea where it is. So, but just seeing the beauty of how we've portrayed it, they want to go. They're just blown away. They just love it, absolutely love it. So when the borders open, we are hoping that that excitement continues, and we're going to keep building it here even after Expo. The whole Expo pavilion at the end of Expo, because we're now halfway through, it'll be packed into a container, sent back to Tonga for them to use at future tourism events. So we're very lucky that they've gifted it to Tonga. Yeah,
that's absolutely fantastic. And as we bring our chat today to move in, is there anything you want to add? It could be about Expo or something more general from the Tongan Embassy there in Abu Dhabi. If there's anything you'd like to add as an encouragement or any pointers or information that you feel that our viewers should be aware of?
Well, we're going to make an announcement soon on our National Day, on our honour day at least, on the 4th of March. We've had some difficulties with this because of several reasons. One, the borders are closed with Tonga, and the difficulty of getting people out of Tonga and getting them home through New Zealand. But we're working on something and waiting on approval from His Majesty, and then we'll let everyone know what's happening. But there's probably one more thing, just an aside. As you see, we both have Air New Zealand background. For those who are interested in knowing, the travel centre and the cargo premises were so blessed. We had minimal damage there, and far more importantly, all the staff are fine and all their homes are fine. So my staff have been working. My team is just so incredible. I just love them to bits. But they've been working hard to clean up and to get the business running again, so we can get aid flights coming in from New Zealand. So we're nearly there. We're waiting on the Orion to turn up with a piece of equipment to get us onto the internet, and then we'll be up and running again, and it'll all be good. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Look, on behalf of Pasifika TV and Radio, and also all of our Tongan diaspora around the world, particularly those here in Australia, it's we just want to say a big thank you to His Excellency and yourself on the outstanding dedication, devotion, leadership that you've provided the Kingdom of Tonga over there, following the vision of their Majesties and bringing that vision to fruition in very challenging times. I don't think that the Expo could have been held in a more challenging time in world history. And the two of you have done, and your team have just done such a great job, because although borders are closed, we feel the energy that's coming out of Expo. We feel the passion, we feel the excitement of the Tongan Pavilion, that we are very proud of the Pavilion, irrespective of whether we've been able to see it or not see it firsthand. But it really has put Tonga on the map in the Middle East, and to hear that pavilion will be able to be transported for potential future use down the line is very, very exciting. And also to you, Mele, as well, thank you so much for your passion and dedication to your product, for putting Tonga on the map with a world-class product, and for having the energy there and the dedication to travel and follow a vision, and to network with our Tongan diaspora, and just for working together with our Tongan embassy there in the Middle East. It's such a blessing, and I want to wish all of you in this meeting today all the best. It is a tough time back in the kingdom, but like as the Deputy Commissioner said a little bit earlier, our Tongan people, we're resilient, and we will come out of this, and we'll come out of this on top, and through God's grace and love. So I just want to wish you all the best, and thank you so much for this opportunity today to sit down and have a chat with you. And hopefully our next chat is face-to-face and not via a virtual means. That would be very exciting. Thank you very much. Malo Alpito.
Malo Alpito.
Malo Alpito.